Hello, hello. If you have your north node in the sign of Aries, or your north node is located in the first house of your natal chart, this reading is for you. Now, I want to point out that I already did this reading. And it actually came out to exactly 37 minutes and 37 seconds. And when I went to post it, I was exporting the file. The entire thing was corrupted. And I was really bummed about it because the message that came out was beautiful. This was like night before last. So we are going to get into it just kind of as best we can, honestly. I'm not even going to try to like draw anything from that last reading because I feel like with the entire file getting corrupted in the way that it did, Spirit probably had something different in mind. I remember what came through and I will pepper it in, here and there, but there's just something in me that's saying to let it come out naturally as opposed to go through the whole thing again. Spirit has something else for you, okay? So let's hop in. Collective. The poet. Gnosis. You have something to share. What's at the bottom here? The shadow. You have something to share. You have something to say. There's something, hang on. There's something tangible that can only come from you. It can only come from you, collective. We're going to get a little bit from Poesis and then we're going to get into the cross here. Home, just like flipped out there. Home. Yeah, it can only come from you. Spirit wants me to take another look at that card. Hang on. At the bottom of the deck, we have Shadow and then Test here. So Spirit wanted me to take another look at this card. So you see how she's like sitting inside of her home? She's taking up most of the space in there. And it's only her and her plants. And like she is far larger than her plants, right? Test and Shadow. I wonder. Sorry, guys. It's my partner letting me know that he's getting off of work right now on time for the first time. I wonder if your shadow is taking up more space in your home than you are. Flow coming out here. You're ready to expand past it. And it's interesting, I obviously, we have Shadow in 2 decks and we have the Village under that and the Dead End. The Unseen. Okay, dude, listen. Yeah, so we'll get into the cross, but here's the thing is that like I think that Spirit had me redo this reading because what came out the last time was kind of centered around the potential of a relationship, and I think that the reason why Spirit wants me to pepper it in is because yes, there are connections that you're making in your community, but I think that this is indicating that the community as a whole, there's something that you are identifying about the place that you're in, about the space that you're in, about the people that you're around that doesn't vibe with you. It is different than you thought, and this talk, and I really, really, really only want you to take this as it resonates, but I'm going to tell you what I'm hearing, and that is that it is insidious in nature. And what that means, that, the word insidious itself sounds really scary. It sounds a lot scarier than it is. Insidious just means that it's hard to identify, right? Sorry. It's hard to identify. And it's interesting that I'm getting these, these text messages and distractions. It's like there's things going on that I think would encourage you to maybe not look at the shadows. And that's why it's so kind of easy. That's why you've gone so long without really seeing these things. But things are being brought to the surface here. Okay, so let's get into the cross. For self, I have Queen of Pentacles, and crossing, I have the 10 of Pentacles. Interesting. Recent past, we have the Emperor. That's your power card. Got myself a little bell. I like when the readers do that, yeah. Beneath you, 3 of Cups, and above you, the Queen of Cups. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. I almost want to keep going, but I am going to stop here because the 3 of Wands in your near future, it's almost as if some of you are departing onto a journey that directly impacts where you call home. Some of you might be moving, but I think that in reality, many of you are reconnecting with a different community or connecting with a different community for the first time, or reconnecting with family that you haven't spoken to in a long time. There's something here about setting your roots down elsewhere, or in a situation where you just aren't currently. With the Emperor in your recent past, it's like you are very much, I'm hearing living up to the hype. You're respected. You are respected. And you are loved. And there's passion that I'm feeling around you. People care for you very, very greatly. But you're also, with the Queen of Cups crowning you here, you're also able to acknowledge where those situations are leading you astray from what is actually for you or what feels right to you. There's something going on here that is just I don't know, it's just the word that I want to use is it's just intense. It's just intense. It's just different. This is internal factors. Oops, external factors, we have the Hierophant. Are we kidding? What? Okay. Hopes and fears, I have the Knight of Swords, and then ultimate outcome, I have the 5 of Wands. At the anchor of the deck, we have the Fool. That's so interesting. And I'm thinking about kind of what came out at the beginning where I said you have something to say. You have something to say. You have something to share. You've learned something in the place that you're in. And I see that in Knight of Swords here in your hopes and fears. And I also see it channeling through the ultimate outcome, which is that 5 of Wands. There's something that you want to say that I think that Spirit wants you to, or no, I'm so sorry. I think that the people around you want you to stay in a box. They want you to kind of stay within the picture that they've painted you, and there's a raucous that you want to cause. There's something that you want to speak out on. Let's get a little bit more. Here. Can I get clarity for self, please? This Queen of Pentacles, 10 of Cups for you, but you have the 10 of Pentacles crossing you in this first pull. 7 of Wands wanted to come out here. We're going to see how I just heard it and then it just slipped out, so I took it. Okay, for what's crossing you, this 10 of Pentacles, the Devil is what's crossing you, but it's also your internal factor. So I'm hearing damn well you're in the wrong place. But you also feel obligated to something. You also feel indebted to something, potentially. You put too much stock into something or someone, and now you are acting as if you owe it or them or whatever. Like this is not, I don't feel that this is a healthy outlook on a situation. Hang on, let's get recent past. I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? Recent past, I have the Emperor and the Knight of Swords in your recent past, which is also your hopes and fears. Near future, the Hermit with the Three of Wands. Yeah, dude. You're pulling back on something. Kind of at the, with the understanding that people don't want you to pull back. People don't want you to exit stage left is like literally what I'm hearing. Like they don't want you to get off of the stage. I don't like that. Beneath you for the Three of Pentacles, for the Three of Cups, I have Justice here as a clarifier. And then the Queen of Cups above you. Ace of Cups. Damn. With the World at the bottom of the deck. Okay, let's talk about it. You know, this is deep. Like, this is like, I feel like you put a lot of stock into whatever this was. And like in the last recording that I did for this, it was coming out as like potentially one person was impacting you in a way that was really making you question what it was that you wanted for yourself and what it was that you were calling in for yourself. And like all of these different things were coming into play here that just did not feel comfortable. You had opened the closet to a boatload of triggers and a boatload of like kind of cobwebs and things that you had to untangle, knots that you had to untangle. And there was, Justice was one of the cards that came out because you are seeing patterns of like abuse and like patterns of behavior, cycles of possibly abuse, but just like really not fun, nasty behaviors and thought patterns and whatever. You're seeing them kind of right in your face right now. And I think that there are people around you who really are showing up in a way that is like they want to help you. But I also feel as if maybe you are in a place of like really questioning if those people actually want to help you, if they actually have your best interest in mind, or perhaps they are operating from a place that is self-serving in a way that doesn't benefit you. Like there's not as much integrity or there's not as much authenticity or security in the characters of the individuals around you as you thought. Does this make sense? I think initially in the first reading, it really highlighted again, like one person in particular that was really standing out. So there might be something here. There might be one particular relationship, friendship, possible suitor that you trust or you're putting more stock into that feels very well earned. There's more to the story than that, and that's why you're not pouring more into that relationship, because there's stuff around the community that they are involved in that you're questioning. You see, I obviously take this as it resonates because it's coming out very specific right now. If it's a person, if it's an idea or an energy or a contract or whatever it is, but just like insert, please take it as it resonates, because these messages are never one size fits all. Regardless of how that's resonating for you, it really feels as if you are very, very convicted in your purpose and in your place in any community. You know who you are, you know what you bring to the table. But the idea here is that like, you don't know if you brought those things to the right table, right? Let's get clarity on internal factors here. The Knight of Cups alongside the Devil, dude, could it get more clear than that? Like, You want to add to the table, but you also understand that maybe what you're adding to the table is, it's not the right table, but you feel drawn to that table. Like, why do I feel so attracted to this table? Why do I feel so attached to this table? What is the story there, right? What's the story there? Let's get clarity on external factors. The Hierophant, the Nine of Wands, hopes and fears, the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and then ultimate outcome with the Five of Wands. We have the Eight of Swords. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Pentacles, which is your identifier card. At the bottom of the first deck, we have the Fool. Okay, let's take a look around the room here. So, so here's the other thing too. I think that people see you as someone who has a lot, and I think that people see you as someone who has more than you feel that you actually have, because you're minimizing it, potentially because you've never had so much before. And maybe because I'm thinking about your recent past here with the Emperor and the Knight of Swords, like you fought really hard to get where you are. There was a lot of focus put into getting where you are, but I think that people are seeing you as a bit of a trophy. And like you just want to kind of maintain a community or maintain a set of relationships or maintain positive interactions because you know that that's what you deserve. You deserve community. You deserve all these things. But the idea that maybe you're not in the right place, that's really, there's a lot of disillusionment with that, right? So the Hierophant, the Nine of Wands, in your external factors, like, it is kind of taxing for you to continue providing or bringing to the table whatever it is that you bring to this community, okay? And I do see you ultimately kind of making a decision to speak out, or I'm hearing act out, so you might end up like doing something and then kind of, I guess, releasing, like having some kind of emotional release, or like kind of speaking your mind in a way that you didn't necessarily plan on, right? Because ultimate outcome, I have the Five of Wands and the Eight of Swords. I want you to be mindful here, but I also want you to remember that any type of competition is kind of a fool's errand. Like, there is no competition when you're in your own lane. There is no competition when you're in your own league, and you are very much in your own league. You just are. You are in your own league. Okay? And so this situation that you are finding yourself in, like, dude, I don't want you bringing anything to anyone else's table for a little while. If, like, do whatever you want, right? But the reason I'm saying that is because the way that this is impacting like your home life, like your experience at home, which is kind of, I mean, that's what came out at first. And like with Poet, Gnosis, what are these other cards? The Unseen, the Village, the Dead End. Oh, it was the Shadow that came out last. You're being asked to alchemize that, right? Like that space which is being taken up in your home that isn't like what you're proud of. How does that look? Probably insane. I just filmed something and it's like over an hour long, and I looked at it and I was like, wow, I look like a crazy person. It's okay. It's just me and you. I don't know that you would be happy with how much space is being taken up right now in your home. That is not a joyful, authentic, pure energy that is also aligned with the life that you want and the human experience that you want, right? So like, I always kind of, when it comes to like this point in a reading or a set of messaging, I always ask like, are you happy? right now? Are you happy? Like, generally, most of the time, are you authentically happy, or are you just kind of getting by and telling me that you're happy because you are placating me? You think that's what I want to hear, or you're telling me something that like is maybe just not entirely true, right? Like, I want you to really, really, really be honest with yourself about if you are enjoying your life and if you feel fulfilled, because what I'm seeing here is that the effects of the people in your life it's going deeper than just like, oh, I'm having an argument with friends. No, this is like, I can tell that my bun does look insane. That's a little bit better, maybe. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me in the comments. Cap on me all you want. I genuinely don't know if the choice that you're being faced with, which you are being faced with a choice here. I don't know if the choice that you're being faced with is something that you are actively identifying as a choice, or if you are kind of caught up in some people pleasing, right? I think that like that is really what I'm vibing into in this kind of messaging that I'm giving to you at this moment, is like there's a people pleasing energy here, because you know that people see you as someone who has a lot to give, and you know that people see you as someone who has gotten really far in life, and it's like they're taking from your table, but you're happy to give, but they're not reciprocating. And like, I can't help but notice that like beneath you, 3 of Cups and Justice, and then above you, Queen of Cups and Ace of Cups. That's a lot of cups. That's a lot of cups. Okay. Let's get some. Okay. So advice, we have trust. Hang on. Trust. That was breathe that flipped out. So we'll see if it comes out again. Trust, chaos. Express, simplify, listen. Joy, harvest, explore. We have courage at the bottom here. With harvest, we have boundary. Okay. So there is land that you intend on laying, be it elsewhere or be it just like in your own, meaning like whether you're going to move or you're just going to like really pull back from social situations. Like I can see that you are planning on kind of like shifting gears, I guess would be the right word or the right term. Spirit is asking you to kind of trust that you're in the right place here, because there's not a whole lot in your social life that would help you anchor, and there's not a whole lot in your like your external world that would help you anchor. You can see cycles closing out and it feels loud. It feels like there are triggers, like there is just like really unsettling energy, and it's because you're not super grounded, but like the means you are being asked to employ in order to get grounded are essentially simplifying things, boiling it down as best you can. That's the message here. You're okay, like as much as you're okay to speak, as much as you're okay to listen, right? There's a balance that you're being asked to strike here that I think you might struggle with because you are frustrated and angry with whatever's going on here. Like you're experiencing tension in the world, in the relationships that you have around you, because I think that you're learning things about people, like, not just what you are kind of providing that might be being taken for granted, but also things that people actively hide. Like I think that you've learned things like kind of, I'm hearing very personal. Spirit is saying very personal. You might be hearing like, or learning very personal things about people that you find yourself around that you might not be okay with. And so Spirit is kind of highlighting this as like, don't think too far into things, and also really like anchor into what it is that you need and keep it, like I'm seeing like periods being put at the end of sentences. Like, I think that maybe this is referencing a need to over explain, or like this illusion or this feeling that you need to over explain, this feeling that you need to justify, right? To justify, whatever, like your actions, your behaviors, your reasoning, your whatever, like you need to justify the place that you're in, or justify the boundaries that you're setting, or justify whatever it means, whatever that means to you. Spirit is saying not to do that, because it's overcomplicating everything and it's adding to the noise. I'm hearing what's not yours is not yours. What's yours is yours. Like, Spirit is really asking you to like kind of step into a little bit of black and white here as a means of just getting somewhere. Like, as a means of like clearing the road. Because you have somewhere to get. There are changes that are being made. And like, why is that? Because there's a new source of fulfillment that is available to you. There's a new lesson that wants to kind of initiate, that wants to go underway here. So like, I think that the other thing too with these cards is like, you have something to learn about the people around you. And if you listen, meaning it through their communication, not just like what about their personal lives or whatever information is being revealed, like what is being communicated to you, Spirit wants you to listen and then communicate whatever it is that is kind of coming up for you, the boundaries or whatever. Communicate that in a way that is very straightforward. You might be dealing with people who are a little gaslighty, to be real. That might be part of why some of this messaging is coming out, is that the people in your life, the people that you're finding yourself around, are like purposefully kind of clouding your vision and making it difficult to communicate with clarity, right? Like, that is a very real possibility here. So again, I want you to just don't be afraid to pull back. But if you are pulling back, what are you doing in that time? And how much of that time is spent learning about yourself and moving into an authentic and pure energy, right? Like, there's something here about how much space your shadow is taking up. Are you truly happy when you pull back and you set up those boundaries and you have more time for yourself? How do you feel? And are you asking yourself questions about how you feel? Like, what's going on? What's going on when you're alone with yourself? How do you feel? Spirit wants you to explore this with a courageous attitude and communicate with a courageous attitude as well. Gentle, but courageous. Courageous sometimes does mean straightforward. Courageous sometimes does mean simply. And I can actually speak to that from personal experience. Like, being courageous sometimes does just mean putting a period at the end of that sentence, even if it's a one-word sentence like fucking no. I mean, that's 2 words, but like, you get what I'm saying? Like, if it's no, sometimes courage is just saying no. Sometimes that is courage, especially in the face of someone who has a history of gaslighting you. Oh man. I think from what I can gather here, like, you kind of figure things out pretty quickly and move forward, but there is this kind of, I do see you shielding yourself from any further pain, right? Or any further kind of tension. I just want you to really take it with you that, like, you are not in competition with anyone but yourself, my love. You are not in competition with anyone but yourself. And being skeptical about who you want in your life that's normal. Like, if you are in a place where you're questioning whether or not you want the relationships that you're currently finding yourself engaging in, if you're questioning that, then you're doing the right thing. if you were not questioning, like if you were just kind of taking all of your relationships at face value and just like taking joy in all of them and not questioning for a moment, like, is this what I really want? Or am I happy with these people? Or how do I really feel about these people or this situation? If you're not doing that, then I guarantee you there's a lapse of integrity. So if you are doing that and you're freaking out because you're doing that, or like you're freaking out because like you're like, just trust your gut here. Trust that you're asking questions for a reason. Trust that you're feeling called to ask questions for a reason. Trust that you're feeling called to pull back for a reason. Like, you do not have to justify yourself to anyone, right? And I don't think that's your main issue, but I do think that I don't think that that's kind of getting in your way. I don't think that that's like the biggest concern here. I think that it's interesting because the energy has been like shifting so weird during this reading. Like, I just got kind of like this big jolt of energy, and then it went down again. So I think that Spirit is indicating to me like that you're quite dysregulated at this time, and that's why you're being asked to pull back in the way that you are. So again, like when we're dysregulated, it's usually because something's wrong, something's amiss, there's a lie in the atmosphere, right? So I really want you to anchor into what you know without having to kind of question that thing. Like, you know what you know, and you don't need to explain why you know what you know, that you just know what you know, and that can be enough. That can be enough. Here's another distraction. Yeah, see, there's another distract. People are trying to keep this from you. I can't, if your concern is that you won't be loved or accepted by anyone else, I really need you to pull back even harder, because you need to take a look at that, and no one can help you with that but you, right? If your concern is that you're not living up to a standard that, you know, other people set for you, or that you set for you, or whatever it is, if your concern is that you're not going to be able to help people, you don't have to help people. What the fuck? Are you talking about your children? Are your children actual children, or are they adults? Are you talking about like yourself? Like, you're not obligated to fucking anyone but yourself, dude, unless you have a baby or like a teenager. Like, basically baby up to like 18, like then yeah, you got to worry about someone else. But like then after that, like, I mean, yeah, you care for people, but like, you come first, dude. You come first. You always come first. And even if you do have a baby or a fucking 18-year-old, you still, like, the misconception of the fucking century is that your happiness doesn't matter if you're a fucking parent. Sorry, especially if you're a mother. No. They, meaning your family, does well if you do well. I'm sorry. Happy wife, happy life applies into motherhood. So if you're not happy, then literally all of the foundation of the places where your plants are trying to grow is fucking rotten, because you're connected to Mother Earth. Do you get it? Like, you're literally showing up here as the Queen of Pentacles. Do you get it? Like, I need you to trust yourself, and only yourself right now. And you can trust me too. But I need you to be a little bit discerning about like who you're taking in at this time, but not because they're not trustworthy, but because you need to anchor into yourself. Like, maybe, I'm sure that maybe whatever, like I never assume anything of anyone, but I also don't really let people too close to me, because I'm getting to know myself really well right now. And like, that's just the season that I'm in a season of, you know, me and my partner are co-parenting our inner children, and I'm getting to know myself really well while I, you know, do a million other things, right, including trying to be there for you. So it's like, dude, you're not pulling back. And like, if people are trying to shame you, like, fuck them. Like, you're not pulling back for any reason other than what is integral to what your body is telling you right now. And if you're questioning your body, then you should really be pulling back, because you're super disconnected in that case. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a need for healing here. There's a need for healing here, my love. There's a need for healing, okay? I am being called to close this out, but boy, oh boy, do I love you. And this really adds on to and really makes me double down on the fact that, like, somebody did not want you to hear this. Like, people do not want you to hear this message. This is really important, okay? So please be kind to yourself and pay attention. And listen to yourself. Listen to yourself, capital S. I love you. Okay? I don't know if I introduced myself. My name is Astrid. I'm a psychic oracle and mentor, and this is The Sacred Gray. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share the video, like, comment, blah, blah, blah. Email me if you need anything, okay? Okay, bye-bye.